Hey guys, we're sitting over here in Missouri. It is a youth weekend, so we are in Hunter Orange, but I wanted to get going on our November checklist there. And right now it's fairly warm, but we're getting into some pretty big fronts kind of off and on. So, in your warm days, you definitely want to be pretty conservative in regards to your hunting pressure. Trying to keep that pressure as low as you can on these deer and just hunting smart. With your entry and exit route, it's just extremely important to do that. Not educate a whole lot of deer, if any. Another thing that I've been doing is freshen up any of the mock scrapes that I've got. I haven't been putting any new ones out, but not to say that you can't. It's just a good time to just kind of keep the ones you've got freshened up. You've hunted, you got your trail camera, and it should work out pretty good. Getting into the cellular cameras, this is a pretty good time period, the end of October all the way through November, is to be able to identify those bucks that they're going to be able to hunt during the rut. And one of the key components I use is the cellular aspect from Cuddyback. We use the Cuddy system throughout the four-state region, and just works out really great. To be able to analyze your trail cam pictures, not only for this year but going forward. So keeping track of those 3.5, 4.5-year-old deer, this year can be key, because you'll be able to tell those animals pattern. So you may not want to harvest that particular deer this year, but next year, that deer, if there wasn't something that was just a huge deterrent from him moving down the same trail or coming back into the same fall pattern, he should keep the same habit there. And next year, hopefully you can get on that deer if you're wanting to. So and again, your cold fronts are going to be huge. This year we've actually got some really good. We just had a pretty good deer season so far, all the way starting from September all the way into up till the end of October now, and then the next week here in November looks really great. So I'll be hunting those cold front mornings. And if I am able to shoot a buck on one of those hunts, I'll go ahead and harvest a doe too, just so I can have that extra meat. And that's been a pretty key factor for me, of just getting some additional meat. If harvesting that buck first, and then on that same hunt, go ahead and harvest a doe too. That way you're only making one entry and exit here, and you're not going to bump a whole lot more deer than what you would if you were just coming through there. So when it comes to the hunting deal, those cold front mornings are going to be great. I'm going to start really isolating the evening times, either on food or pretty close to the food, and then the mornings I'll just try to, like the normal, of just hidden between the food and the bedding, and tuck pretty close to that bedding, because those bucks should be starting to move in there quite a bit, and those does should be bringing those bucks right along. So that's another thing, is hunting those doe groups. So as you guys have hunted, throughout this year, you guys should have been able to pick up a lot of your deer movement or your doe movement there. So whether they're coming out one particular trail, pretty consistent, or if it's kind of 50-50, or maybe there's one trail that they were using last year they're not hardly using at all this year. So definitely keep those, because that they're a creature of habit. They should be extremely consistent in regards to how they come out and how they come back in, and you ought to work out really good. So the other couple of things I've been doing is I've been continuously shooting the bows there, still at 20, 30, and 40. I've been hunting a lot of these redneck blinds and my saddle. So I've actually elected to sit down on that bucket about 95% of the time, because my shot opportunities are either going to be sitting in these chairs, or I'm going to be hunting out of that saddle, which I'm right there by the tree, actually sitting down. So I got my legs at the 90 degree, and it's almost like I'm sitting down shooting. So I just kind of thought about that, and last month, so I've elected to go forward from there. So I think that should work out pretty good for myself. The other thing I've been starting to do is I've got the 6.5 Creedmoor out. Got the Omega suppressor on there, and I've been shooting a little bit. I shot at 100, 200, and 300 yards, and really surprised myself, but I was able to hit the target there at all three on the first shot, and it was fairly windy, so it just kind of goes to show you that 6.5 Creedmoor, that's a tack driver and a really flat shooting gun, and so I think that's going to probably wrap up for our November checklist. We got the youth seasons coming in here. We got our rifle season coming in here. So, target those deer, whether that's a doe, a spike, a 6-point, or your big deer you've been after the whole year. So, the big thing about hunting is you're having fun, getting out there in nature and making the best of it, and making those memories with your family and friends. So, I hope everybody's had a great year so far. The season's gone well, and like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best of luck on your upcoming hunt.